Welcome to General Mission. It is June 8th. We are back. It's been a nice little break. Hope everyone had a good Memorial Day. We're here and the world is on fire. I think.
I thought you were gonna go with a Thrice reference there with Red Sky.
Oh no, I was going to say that it is a mix of Nickelback, Rush, Drake, 3 Days Grace, Silverstein, and they're covering let's see, Jimi Hendrix, Johnny Cash, Fuego by Fish, and it's causing these Canadian wildfires to just coast down.
No Alexis on Fire
Ah, well, I was trying to think of
or
Canadian bands.
Canadian. They're
Are
Canadian.
they? Oh my God, that
Like
would
the
have just
perfect one.
damn. Well, maybe someone needs to put them out, and then the smoke will stop.
But they divide the sky, make that wind blow
The
high.
wind blows high, of course.
Not
Yeah,
even a
it's
minute in.
no, no. We were we're negative time on fish jokes because we were making them before we even hit record.
This is true.
Very true. That's still a month away, but we won't start with fish talk. I promise. I'm all over the place musically, and I don't want to rush into the two new albums we have, but kind of where I'm at big time. We had Foo Fighters put out an incredible album, and Avenged Sevenfold. I think they're back. We can get into it in a little bit, but I really like this album as well.
I think it grows with each listen. I know like we'll get to it, but like at first I was like, what did I just listen to?
Yeah,
Second time I was like, all right, I get what they're doing here. Third time I'm like, all right, I like this.
yeah, yeah, big
That was
time.
my process.
Yeah, I'm excited, very excited to get into that one. But we have some catching up to do, first of all. So it's been, I guess, like 2 weeks-ish since our last episode. So a lot has happened. Some stuff
Adjacent
that
happened.
feels adjacent happened. Blink happened. Blink happened like immediately after our last episode. So that feels really far away.
At
So
the
far
Garden
away.
or Barclays or both.
Uh, both. Because I think Barclays was like Friday night, which would have been the day after. Well, no, we were still releasing Tuesdays then. Oh, we're back on Thursday schedule in case anyone didn't notice. Um,
Summer schedule.
yeah. Um, no, Blink MSG. No, I'm all twisted up now. MSG was first. Did I don't stop? He's smirking because I every word is a fish song, okay? We can't do this. I shouldn't twist around that way. There. You happy?
Yes.
All right, good. Um, no, MSG was first, and that was like a Friday. And then Barclays was the upcoming like Tuesday or Wednesday, which I bailed on.
And Sister
Kind
Nodge went.
She went. She had a great time. Their seats weren't good, but like it didn't matter, which in hindsight, so I tortured myself that day. Me and my friend Steve, shout out Steve, we just like watched resale prices the entire day. And there were some deals popping up. There were some good deals. Like
How
my
good we talking?
my sister's seats were about as bad as they get for 180, and they got those like when they went on sale. I was finding stuff in the low 100s for like 120, but those tickets would last for like not even a minute. Like they were gone in a refresh. I
So
found,
people were doing what you were doing.
yeah, there were floor seats popping up, not like the pit, but like the back half of the floor, which are still designated seating, popping up anywhere from like 140 to 170, which I think is a steal. Um, and then there were just like really, really bad seats. Like I'm talking like behind the stage, upper level, and those were going for 70 at one point, and those didn't last long either. So like the deals were there. And the more I thought about it, like of course I want to see the band, but if you're going with like your friends to Blink, you're just going to be singing at each other like the entire show. It almost doesn't really matter.
It's true.
But yeah, I couldn't make it. And then I almost could make it, and I don't feel like getting into all of it, but well, I'll get into it a little because that's why we're here, right? Talk about random shit. My sister replaced my ticket, so then I didn't feel guilty about then trying to go. Because at first I was like, I can't tell her no and then turn around day of and then go. So it was off the table. But then I decided maybe I could go, but I had committed to a late birthday dinner for Nicole's mom, whose birthday was like a week and a half ago, but her aunt wanted to take us out. So then I was cemented in that. And yeah, and that was at a Greek restaurant. And during the MSG show, we went to Greek Fest. So I missed two Blink shows because of Greece. It's really what it comes down to.
What it sounds like.
Opa.
Not to make you feel worse, but friend of the pod, Matt Maceos, was there, and
Very
he
nice.
said it's one of the best shows he's ever been to.
Shut up. I mean, I've heard nothing but like glowing reviews for the whole band.
Like they had that same energy from like Coachella, where like they genuinely seemed happy to be playing again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what everyone I talked to was just like they looked like they were having fun. That's really like that's what you want to hear because we care about these guys. I saw a video after the MSG show. It was just like it was actually on the same corner where we waited online to get into Fish and we met all those strange people. I
Made a
mean,
lot of friends that night.
yeah, yeah, friendly people. Um, it was on that corner and it was after the show and they were all just singing What's My Age Again? Like just a crowd of like, I don't know, 50 to 100 people. I'm not good at guessing numbers. Um, and they're all singing around and someone has one of Mark's guys has a camera and you see Mark start jumping into the crowd and fist bumping and singing along and you can just see the crowd slowly start to realize that Mark is just in the middle of all of them on the street singing. And then they all go nuts and he just like gives a wave and jogs out to the street, gets in his limousine and leaves.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
So cool. Look up
Gotta find that video.
the the Blink 182 Italia Instagram. I don't know if it's just Blink Italia or Blink 182 Italia, but that page has everything. They don't miss like Tom doesn't sneeze without them making a post. They're on top of Blink stuff.
It's a very inside source there.
Yeah. It's is it like officially or we
I
don't
don't know if
know?
it's official, but like they do have
Yeah.
like everything before it comes out.
Yeah, right? It
I'm
really
hoping they get the album date soon.
yeah, I think we talked about this last time because Travis confirmed like October or something like that. I don't remember. After summer though. But
But no hard date, right?
no, no. Um,
Massive World Tour, no new
yeah,
album out.
yeah. But that just means they'll come back around and then we can go that time. Because I do want to go, especially now that I learned that like you can just get tickets the day of. It's a scary game. It's stressful, but it's an option. The Front Bottoms announced the tour today. Speaking of tours, and they also announced. So here's my question, because I don't remember. Did we know
Which
the
day are we
date?
going to?
We got to go. Well, we don't have to go to anything, but I think we should go Saturday just because it's a Saturday.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and it's the last stop of tour, and like it's just easier to get into the city on a Saturday. Like we don't have to feel rushed from work and all that nonsense.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
That's
Did
the
we?
venue you're not crazy about, there, right? Terminal 5.
I I don't. I mean, it's a little out of the way. Most people I talk to say like they hate that venue. I don't I don't know why though. Like it's kind of a weird layout. It has like those two pillars kind of in the middle, which is annoying. I don't know. It just seems like a pretty normal venue to me. I don't get why it's so hated, but I'm fine with it. I'd rather like Webster, Irving, but
Or Starland.
yeah, I know. Leaving New Jersey out. It's okay
Are they
though. It's
so
close enough.
so this won't be Town of the Hawk? It'll be for the
No.
new album.
Yeah, that tour is over. This tour is I think the name of their new album is like You Are Who You Hang Out With or something along those lines. And that's what like the tour is called.
They're gonna play Town of the Hawk one of those nights. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe we should just go both nights. I might.
If it was Starland, I would do it. New York is a different story though.
New York's easier. Well, they're probably both the same distance for me, honestly. It's just easier to get to Starland. Um, did we know the date for their album? Because it was just like in the lower corner of the album of the tour dates, it just said new album August 4th. And I was wondering if they just snuck that on or if
That's
that
been
was
known.
okay.
Yeah, it's been known
I,
for a little while.
I thought that was like a pretty
They're
cool
trying to
way to
hide
do
it.
it. Like, oh yeah, here's a tour. By the way, new album too. But yeah. And I think we'll probably get a new single this week because they said like stuff is coming this week, unless they just meant the tour. I don't know. But I'm very
Maybe we
excited. I love them.
maybe we can recruit Parco for that since Kevin Devine's opening.
He's not. You made the same mistake I did, which is a gripe of mine. These friggin' asterisks and hashtags to decide who the support is. They're too small. This is impossible to know. Like, am I just
Gotta look
old
again.
and can't read? I thought it was an asterisk too. It's not. Their support for this one is like Skunk Fist or something weird like that. I don't know the band, but I think their name's slightly better than Skunk Fist, but I mean, that'd kind of be a cool band name. Uh
I'm trying to find it.
Slaw Thrust. Skunk Fist. Close.
Acknowledge.
Slaw.
Oh, so that's even better. We are the if we do go Saturday, that is the last night.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
I thought it was Sunday was the last night.
Oh, no, the 10th is it's a Friday, Saturday. I kind of want to go both
Yeah, let's do the
nights.
11th. I think
Yeah.
that'll be the Town of the Hawk night.
Well, pre-sale is tomorrow, Wednesday, the day before people are listening to this, but the day after we record this. So I'm just gonna buy four, I think. And you and Vinny have dibs, and then if Andy ever answers me, he can have dibs.
I'm definitely in because we have a very light calendar this year,
Yeah,
concert wise.
yeah. Um, they also just played a Jason Fest. Did you know anyone who went?
Uh, one person. Remember
Did you
Martina from the Outlook?
vaguely. She went.
Yeah, she reached out and asked if we were there. I was like, no,
Uh,
you're not.
sorry, Martina. I wish we were. It was a stupid weekend because I couldn't go. Otherwise, no. I mean, yeah,
But really, though, it should not have been on a
yeah,
holiday weekend.
yeah, yeah. That's a bummer. My friend at work went and she had a great time, but it was her first festival and she went too hard Saturday
Oh boy.
because she's like a really, really big Paramore fan. So she went super hard for them, got very close. And then Sunday, she's like, I didn't even make it to blank. Like it was exhausted. But
Like
she
what happened to
didn't,
me at the last Warp Tour.
yeah. Oh yeah,
But
you
that was
left early
unintentional.
too.
That was
Yeah.
unintentional, though. That's because our driver went too hard.
Not cool.
Not cool
But
at all.
then this same friend went, she left work early Tuesday and stood outside Madison Square Garden till 5 in the morning. So overnight with the crowd of people for Paramore. And she said around 5 in the morning, or was it five at sometime Wednesday, they come out and they give everyone wristbands with a number on it for these people who want to like ride the rail. And then they're allowed to leave. So she's like, I went back to my hotel, got like 3 hours of sleep. Then they went back to MSG and she had number 34. So she's like, I was able to get in and be front row. And she was like right up on the barricade.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. She said they played like obviously way more songs because it's a solo thing versus a Jason Fest, but also like deeper cuts and stuff like that. Sounded like a good time.
And Misery Business is like a staple of the set again, right?
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
brought like little Uzi Bird out for the
Uh,
garden version.
that's cool. I knew she brought someone out. I didn't remember who.
Yeah,
Yes.
she played like wow. They played like 8 songs off the new album.
That's That's a ton. But I mean, the new album's good and the songs are like fun, so I'm not surprised they wanted to play them.
No.
Oh, that actually brings me back around to something I wanted to bring up for Blank. Um, the set lists have been identical. Like not even one. Is that a surprise? I felt like that was a surprise because I always thought most bands reserve like two or three spots where they'll kind of rotate some deep cuts. Like Green Day likes to do that. And it's
I thought they because I thought they were doing that. Did they stop rotating in and out like stuff off Untitled?
all I know is MSG and Barclays were back-to-back shows and they were the exact same set list, same order and everything.
Don't like that.
I know it's kind of lame. Like, did you hear how Taylor Swift is doing it? Because I think that's really cool. It gives me fish vibes, but she has three songs per show where she's playing what they call secret songs, and it's basically just she'll bust out three really deep cuts and then won't play them again the rest of the tour.
Who's doing this?
Taylor Swift. So
Uh,
every show gets three unique songs to them that no one else will hear, which is really
that's
cool.
interesting.
And it's also great like marketing aspect. I mean, not that it's easy to go to multiple Taylor Swift shows, it's hard enough to go to one, but it's like that same idea that keeps us going. The fish is like you might be chasing a song or like you want to hear your favorite song. It's like an excuse to keep going. Like I wouldn't dream of seeing Blank back-to-back nights if I knew they were going to do the same set list, probably
No.
with the same banter and the same jokes. Like that would suck all the fun out of it because it would just make it feel like overly rehearsed. Not knocking
Yeah.
them. I mean a little, but like plenty of bands do it. It's not like no bands play the same set list, but I would just think it would be fun to like mix in stuff. And
Or just drop a new song and then play the new song.
yeah, right? That would be awesome. And then just like a live version floats around for a little. And they bumped Carousel. Like, come on. That's so sad.
Were they
Carousel's
playing it
like,
for a while and they stopped playing it?
I mean, every show I've ever seen of Blink, they've played Carousel since 2008 or whenever it started, when I started seeing them. But
One of their best live songs too.
I know, disappointing. Like, cut, like, damn it. Just kidding. But not really.
Ghost on the Dance Floor is an interesting one to keep
Yeah,
playing over and over.
that's got to be Tom, just like loves it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like they can play more off Dude Ranch than Damn It.
Yeah, like imagine like they
No,
played
like
like Pathetic or something. That would be so awesome.
Boyer,
Dick Lips, all these fantastic song names.
New Hope, a really deep
Princess
cut.
Leia.
That
Oh
part is so cool, like
man.
the bridge with the like a bass solo into like the guitar and the drums going nuts.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so fun. They should just do like a Dude Ranch tour and only play like clubs.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be amazing, but that would
Play
never
Buddha too,
that would never work. Look how ticket
or
prices were
Cheshire
for
Cat.
we complain about ticket prices for arenas and then we want them to go play a 1,000 person venue. Oh my God. Be a
Well, Green Day
disaster.
did that, right?
They
They
did.
played like Starland.
Yeah. I regret not even trying to go to that. Like,
Shame.
at least try, because it's not even like you get bad seats. You just have to get in.
Back then it was probably like 100, which is like nothing now.
Yeah. Seeing Green Day. I just found out for work I'm going to Louder Than Life.
That incredible lineup.
It's pretty stacked. 4 days. Yeah, the one day is Green Day and Queens of the Stone Age. And I checked and Turnstile. I don't know exactly how they're gonna do it, but their two main stages are right next to each other, so I guess they could set up one while the other goes, which I kind of love because then if you just get a good spot, like you're fine. You don't have to like try and run back and forth.
You have to see it live to get it.
Yeah, we'll do it live. But
Has
yeah,
anyone said how
with
Turnstile is? Because I'm curious how they're live.
everyone I've talked to who went didn't get there in time for Turnstile.
Missing out.
Yeah,
I threw that on again the other day, and I forgot how good
Glow
their most
On
recent album is. Yeah,
is a great album. Part of me, how do I don't know why. Hold on, let me make sure I say this right. They're How are they opening on this Blink tour is basically like what I'm wondering. Cause I think it's cool, but like it doesn't they're not that big, right? Like they're headlining all these festivals. Like how did this happen? Like did Blink
they
just put them on the tour and like that blew them up? Were they this big already? Like it just feels like they came out of nowhere.
no, Glow On blew them up. That
But
album like just took off
but
and
that
like
much
became
that
like,
they're on the same line as Green Day and Queens of the Stone Age.
yep. They
It
play
is a
like
great
every like
album.
late night show. They're like
Yeah, but
on
like
Taco Bell commercials now.
yeah, I don't know. It's not it's not like they're not accessible music. Like like Blink accessible or like Green Day accessible. Like they're pretty like hardcore.
This one's like poppy enough where it's like more accessible.
Okay. I have to go back to it then because I don't remember. And I'm not saying that to put them down. It's just like usually the bands headlining that are bands like Green Day or Foo Fighters or whatever that can appeal. It just seems like strange to me that they're headlining all these festivals, but it's
And their
sweet.
live show
Like,
is like notorious too, so I feel like that is also a factor.
yeah,
That's why I asked if anyone commented on how they were, but we don't know anyone that saw them yet.
no, no, not yet. I'll try and see them. Like of Green Day, Queens of the Stone Age, and Turnstile, Green Day is like lowest on my list just because I've seen them so many times and they don't really switch up their set list. So like if I had to pick, I mean it would be hard, but I've seen them a lot, and I don't know if I need to see Billy Joe doing his I said hey. I love Green Day. I do. They're my first concert ever. I'm not putting them down. I just, if you're at a festival, you got to see bands you've never seen. That's like the point, some of the point. So I was looking at Sad Summer Fest at PNC because Hot Mulligan is on that, and I really want to see Hot Mulligan.
The All American Rejects one.
No, this is Taking Back Sunday, the main, um, Hot Mulligan, Mom Jeans, and Puris, Pvris. I never really knew how to
I don't
say
know how to
that
say
band
that
name.
either.
Yeah. Um, I don't. So I was trying to figure out how they do it at PNC because like it's called a fest, but like I don't think it is a fest. And I found out it's all on the main stage and it just starts at 2.
The main stage.
The main stage. Yeah. Um, I don't like enough of those bands to do it. I'd rather just see Hot Mulligan at Starland, which I'm confident can happen in the future.
In the fall, maybe.
Yeah. I would really like to see them. Oh, so I wanted to tell you this. We we take Jasper to this dog training thing every Wednesday night, and it's just like us and like 10 other German shepherds, and we all like walk in a circle and do sits and stays and all this different stuff. It's good socialization for him. And one of the things we do is like a 5-minute sit and stay. So everyone sits their dogs and then you kind of just chat and like your dog's supposed to just sit there and listen. And I was showing the lady who runs it like a picture of him. I forget what I was showing off, him doing something. And I go to unlock my phone and it has Spotify is like open on my lock screen because I was listening to it on the car ride over. And the song paused is Cock Party 2.
Oh no.
And I can't and I can't unlock it. And I was just trying to show her my wallpaper. So I'm just like holding my phone in front of her. It just says cock party. And I didn't realize it till after class, till I was like on my way home. I'm like, fuck, she must be so confused what I was
It's
doing.
like, what is he listening to?
What this guy's into some weird shit. Doesn't he close out his browser before showing it to someone?
That is great.
Yeah, of all the songs for it to be stopped on. That's probably the worst one. Uh
And it's sad that's like one of the best songs on the album too.
it's so
But it's
good.
called Cock Party too.
I've been listening to that album nonstop, and it was feeling like for sure my album of the year. And now after this last Friday, like it's borderline. I haven't listened to it once since Friday.
There's two really big contenders that came out on
I
Friday.
never would have guessed Foo Fighters would put out an album of the year for me. Like, I've always been a very casual Foo Fighters fan, and I love this album. Can we do it? Can we
Let's
talk
get
about
into
it?
it.
I've been waiting so long. Well, a week. Not even a week. But oh, oh man. All right. It's happening. We can finally talk about this album.
I'll let you kick it off.
I just I've never loved a Foo Fighters album like this before. Um I love the songs. Like I love self-titled. I love the color and the shape. And Wasting Light is very good too. I mean, whatever. I don't need to preface this by saying all their albums are good, blah blah blah. Like those are like probably my three biggest ones. And even those feel like a collection of good songs. And this might sound crazy to like real Foo Fighters fans or whatever. Um, but to me, this new album feels like an album. Like this is a story. Like I finished this album and I felt like I got done reading a good book. And I just kind of sat there in silence, like, whoa, like trying to soak it in and think about it all. Just and it sucks what had to happen for this album to come to light, but man, they they nailed it. Like,
And I feel like we hyped this up so much. Like when they announced it, like I remember telling you, I'm like, this has the potential to be like their best album. Like not even hearing a song yet,
yeah,
just knowing everything they've been through, and it somehow exceeded even those expectations.
it's it's I like I think it's my favorite Foo Fighters album. Like, is that I don't
It's
know.
certainly up there.
It feels crazy to say after less than a week. So I'm trying to like play it cool, but I really like this album. I've listened to it, I don't know, 3, 4 times a day, like every day since it's come out.
I'm in the same boat.
I really can't stop. It doesn't even feel like a 50-minute album, 48, whatever. But it goes so quick, and there's so many highs and lows and different styles of songs under the Foo umbrella. It and then like, the lyrics, like Jesus, you could really get into it that way if you want, or if you want to just like listen in the background and rock out, like you can do that too. It really like skirts the line, but obviously if you really listen to these lyrics, pretty much every song is hitting you.
There were a ton of gut punches on this one.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I think The Glass probably got me the hardest. Well, the hardest other than Rest,
I
which
was gonna
we could
say
talk
that
about.
one.
I have been
I have a good
so
story for that one.
if I've listened to this album 15 times, I've listened to Rest twice. After The Teacher, I usually turn this off unless I'm like listening at work. Today I was listening at work with headphones, so I let it play. But like if I'm like in the house blasting music and stuff, I don't I don't leave Rest on. It's too much. It's a great song.
That
It's
it
too much.
really is. That last line is just like
Oh
the
my God.
sledgehammer of this entire album. Had another
Talk
dream of us in the warm Virginia sun. Daryl will meet you. Applies to both his mom and Taylor.
Goosebumps. And the contrast between that and the teacher, like going from one to the other, and it oh man, I mean, we could spend a whole episode on the teacher
Oh
probably.
my god,
That's
it's
one of the best songs I've like ever heard. And I don't care if I'm speaking hyperbolic because I really feel that way right now. It is incredible. I didn't know they had this in them.
I didn't either. That's like now a contender for like best song they've ever written. Like people are calling it that online, and
That's
like there's
certainly
not
how I
much
feel.
pushback to it.
Not often does someone release a 10-minute song and I listen to it 3 times in a row without it feeling like a burden. Like I just wanted to.
Only Tool does that, and Fish.
Yeah, yeah. But
Although
they're
Fish, I feel like I don't usually hit repeat on some of theirs, but Tool, I will go back and
yeah, yeah. And they're like enigmas. They almost don't like count. Like
yeah,
I just never saw this coming from Foo Fighters. And the way in that song where he's like, "You showed me how to grieve, never showed me how to say goodbye," and then like it ends with him just screaming goodbye. Like holy shit! And then well,
the guitars behind him during that too.
yeah,
I'm not sure. Like
unreal.
I
Like
can't
just
speak like music, but I know like they're doing something really cool there with how they're playing it.
yeah, it's
Like
just some
whatever
like
tone is on it.
static effect
Yeah,
thing. I don't. It's probably just like cranking all their pedals and just like making chaos happen. But like, uh, oh, like him, the way the distortion ends and then it goes into rest and it goes from screaming goodbye to like you can rest now. Like, there's got to be like that's got to be intentional.
oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, yeah. Those two are unreal. But like, there's so many other good ones that
Beyond Me was the one that almost got me choked up. And I was like driving to a camping trip when I had it on for the first time. I was like meeting everyone at a brewery like 10 minutes away from the campground.
had to
And
compose
like
yourself.
I got in the bar, like I couldn't speak for like 5 minutes. All I had is like rest playing in my head, and I'm like, I need a few minutes just to
Like, why is
get out
Brett?
of that headspace.
Why is Brett drinking a beer alone in the corner? Oh, he just finished the new Foo Fighters album. Yeah, that which one? Beyond Me? Yeah.
Beyond
So
Me.
like the way it starts off, like he's singing it and he sounds tired, like while he's singing, but like not like that was a choice, I think, like to really like and then like the drums in the guitar solo are insane. He does all the
So
drumming.
good.
He did all the drums on this. I
This is
Googled.
before the Freezer joined the band.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see like how he takes it live. My my one small small gripe I will give it, and this is very small, but I feel like the drums are kind of like washed out a little in the production. Like
On some songs.
which one is it? But here we are, the title track. Like when he's hitting that hi-hat in the verse, like you know how hard he plays the drums, and it just doesn't feel like it comes through hard like that, which I want that extra little punch from it. But
Thought it came through in the ending though, like when they go like nuts at the end of that song.
yeah, yeah, that was one of my notes was like this song needs to be like cranked way up, and then it like really works well. And it has like an awesome scream. Like his vocals in that song are incredible. That one I kind of thought was like almost felt a little filler at first, and then after like the third listen, I realized how wrong I was. But that one works very well, like turned up way loud.
And then speaking of production, I thought they did a really cool job on hearing voices where like it cuts out. And I'm not sure if it's like the
Yeah,
demo version there or if like that was intended where like they just go back to acoustic. Like it sounds like
yeah.
that was the demo,
Just a
but
little
I
bit
might
of
be completely
piano.
wrong.
It does. It sounds like he recorded it on like an iPhone or like something like the end. And I love that they included that, especially like the fade out is like a tricky thing these days. Like I feel like that was very like 90s thing to do where like every song just faded out. But this one, like it's called hearing voices, and I think fading it out is just like such a smart idea. And then to surprise you and bring it back in with just like the really like raw, stripped down chorus being played again. And the bass line in that is a groove.
Oh
There are
yeah,
some great bass lines in this.
Under You baseline. After you
Yeah.
said that last episode, I went back and listened. I was like, how did I miss this? Like my first few listens.
Did you when Under You starts, I feel like the vocals to Big Me could start singing and it would fit like
Yeah.
perfectly.
Or Flavor of the Week.
It does have that do 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 do
The guitar solo.
just for a second, and then it goes off into yeah, I like the solo in that. It's not like crazy like over the top. It's just like a nice like addition to the song. And my I like that song a lot because for as sad as this album gets, Under You feels like a happy remembrance of Taylor. Like he's talking about like them like smoking cigarettes and like drinking beers or whatever it was. And obviously like he says, I think I'm getting over you, and then it's like followed with like I'm not
There's no
or
getting over
yeah,
you.
that's it. Thank you. But like I like that that's like a happy sad song and it wasn't all just like super like sad front to back. Uh
Same with like Show Me How. Like he has like his daughter on it. It kind of sounds like
yeah.
she's like picking up the slack for like him, like taking care of him almost.
I think that one's about his mom a little bit
I
too.
do.
Yeah. Which is makes sense that he had his daughter on it. Uh yeah, I it's just it's really good through and through. Like it's amazing. Oh, I want to talk about the album art because I was looking at it today. I don't have it
It's all
open. Hold
very
on.
faded.
It's just yeah, like what is it?
Is it a
It's
flat
just
line?
it could be. I kind of
Or like
saw it.
seeing the light? Like you know how like people say see the light?
Oh, I could see
Might just
that.
be
I
that.
could see that too. It kind of looks like a desert skyline to me with like all the colors stripped away. It's just like really interesting. It's
Supposedly like the
basically
album art on the inside is like that too, and people are really pissed because like you can't read the lyrics clearly.
whatever. Go to Genius.
Yeah. They're literally in Spotify right now. So
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I hate when it I always wonder how lyrics in Spotify work. Like if I guess the band has to upload them, maybe if they're a smaller band. I guess if you have a label, they'll do it.
I'm gonna do it for
But
you.
sometimes they don't follow along. It just like throws them at you. But
I had
uh,
a one more note here that I wanted to touch on because I thought you made a good point where like this is like your could be your favorite Foo Fighters album. I know like a lot of people are feeling that way.
yeah.
So I read Steve Hyden, who's like probably my favorite music writer. I know he can be a little bit of a hater on his podcast as we've talked about before.
I love
But
to listen.
yeah, but he wrote like a really great article on this album, and like he made a great point that like I didn't even realize like the Foo Fighters' best albums have come like out of times where like the band is rebooting. So if you think about it, like the self-titled debut was Dave like rebooting from Nirvana. Color and the Shape was him rebooting with a full band, not making an album by himself anymore.
True.
There's a There's Nothing Left to Lose was him, Taylor, and I think just Nate. So it's like a three piece. So they're rebooting again, and then they kind of settled into that lineup from there. And then this one is obviously them rebooting without Taylor. So it's like
Yeah.
every time a major event happens, it seems like it somehow jolts the band to like this creative space. And I don't know, I just never really realized that. Like, because I mean, a lot of people do look at the first three albums and refer to them as the best. I know I do. Like, there's Nothing Left to Lose, probably my favorite one. This one is definitely up there with those three. There's no doubt about that. Because a lot of the times, I know the last three albums haven't really been great. Going back to Sonic Highways through
Yeah, a little spotty.
Medicine at Midnight. Yeah,
They had their moments, but it wasn't like cohesive through and through
no,
albums.
they were pretty much safe. Like they said, like he wrote that like Dave Grohl was so like in his head about being the rock guy that he never really left that lane and just made like comfort music in a way, comfort
It
rock.
it does feel like they stepped away this album from trying to write arena rock songs,
Exactly. Yeah.
which is where it gets those color and shape vibes from, I think.
And then like the last note he said was like, I mean, I know we read this book. Like, I felt he was personal in his book that we read. Like, you felt that, right?
Yeah,
Because like
yeah,
Hayden wrote
definitely.
that he feels like Dave Grohl keeps a lot too close to his chest and shares only what he wants to share. But like he wore his heart on his sleeve on this album. And like the
Yeah.
last line of his write up was, "It's Dave for once showing us how hard it is to be Dave. And while it's sad, it's also refreshingly down to earth and human."
Wow.
Like summing up this album,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
true because like
because
they don't really share too many personal details in their music other than like
no.
those first three albums.
Yeah, or it's like vague inspiration or things that you can really like attribute to anything.
Yeah,
This is really like really going inward.
like you
Especially
feel the love
like
Dave had for Taylor and his mom like all throughout this.
yeah, yeah. Like listening to the glass got me so choked up because it put me in his shoes on like one of my listens. Like it's having some beers and listening, so I was already a little in like in my feels. And like just like listening to him talk about like them being on the other side and like I forget the specific lyrics right now, but it made me really think of like everything he has been through. Like you could apply these lyrics to Kurt, to Taylor, to his friend that he talked about in his book, whose name I'm forgetting. Sorry. But like it's just like he's been through a lot and he's really in the spotlight and he wears it so well and like it can't be easy. Like how it
No,
all also brings up a point that I read on the Foo Fighters subreddit the other day. He's like performing these 2.5 hour shows like multiple times a week through like October. And he doesn't have Taylor to take away like to take the front man spotlight for a portion of the show.
no.
Like this is a lot from him. Uh, I can't like that's not easy.
I mean,
And
I
it's
hope he's still in good shape by the time See Here Now is here.
uh, I
But selfishly,
I'd
but
be lying if I wasn't wondering how he's going to keep it up for that long. But he did release this today, Tuesday around lunchtime. He just said like I said I won't read the whole thing, but he's just talking about how they've just finished up their first like few shows and stuff. He hand wrote this and posted to Instagram. But he said this part, every night when I see you sing, it makes me sing harder. When I see you scream, it makes me scream harder. When I see your tears, it brings me to tears. And when I see your joy, it brings me joy. But I see you, and it feels good to see you, churning up these emotions together. Because what does he have? Because we've always done this together. Sorry, it's handwritten. So
his handwriting's a little
yeah,
tough. Yeah.
yeah. Even his handwriting's cool. God damn. Um, but it sounds like this is, I mean, it's definitely therapeutic for him. Um, it's more just like the straight up physical toll too, but so far so good. He seems happy about it, like posting that. So, uh, let's go.
Yeah. I think he'll be ready.
I think so. I think so. And
And then
with the
one
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
no, just I was just gonna say I'm gonna wind up seeing them twice in 5 days now that I have to go to this other festival. So it'd be pretty funny.
I think you might get some different songs at least with them. They've been
Yeah, I think so.
mixing in a few ones.
I don't care. I'm just excited to see him. I don't want to wish away summer
But not to end this on a downer, but I do
though.
think like this is probably gonna be like my go-to like loss album. Like
Oh
whenever I go
man.
through that again in life, I think like this is what I'm turning to like carry me through. And I think it's great they not great, but like therapeutic that they wrote this because like so many
Yeah.
people are gonna turn to this now when this happens to them. And I think that can kind of maybe catapult it, like you said, over all their other albums. Like
Yeah.
none of them have the power like this one does. That's for sure.
Yeah. It is a beautiful I think I'm trying to remember. Lauren said it to me, but she said it's like it's beautifully sad or beautifully. I forget the exact words, but yeah, it's
Beautifully
just
tragic.
yeah, that might have been it. Which sounds,
Trying to
which is
find different
true.
words for sad.
It is. Yeah, it's just it's a beautiful album. I wasn't expecting it at all, and I'm glad we got it.
It's gonna be really hard to top. I'm not sure if anything will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for emotion. Like, I mean, I'm not even doing this transition on purpose, but when Avenged put out Nightmare after the Rev, like that's one of my all-time favorite albums, and it carries that same grief, and it just has that extra level of depth that like it's not something you can curate, it's not something you want to happen, but when when these artists can turn tragedy into beautiful art, it's amazing, and it's like so great that we get to be a part of it as listeners.
I was
Which
honestly thinking
yeah,
that like when that these two came out the same day, it's like you kind of felt like Nightmare a little bit as like a backdrop. It's like they did the same thing, and now what are the odds like it's the same release day?
yeah, yeah, same a drummer, like there's a lot of
Yeah, same thing. Legendary drummer.
yeah. So um that brings us to Avenged, I think, where
And they actually used some Rev material.
yes, they did, which I've only read. I haven't really like I mean, I guess there's no way to like hear it and figure it out, but on Mattel, Mattel,
I
Mattel.
was gonna ask you if it was Mattel or, but he said plastic flowers in it, so I was wondering if it is Mattel.
Oh, yeah, that makes
Maybe.
sense. I don't think Mattel's even a word, so I don't know,
But yeah,
but
Rev supposedly contributed the melody on the bridge.
yeah. Yeah, and then he has lyrics in Beautiful Morning, I think it was that they used.
Yep, you're right.
So it's pretty cool that they like are keeping his memory and like influence on the band like even just alive a little bit, paying like tribute to him like that. This this was a weird album. I don't think there's any other way to really say it. Life is but a dream, followed by an ellipsis. Um,
Was
it's
it dot
their
dot dot? Is ellipsis dot dot dot?
yeah.
I just learned that today.
You're a journalism major.
You were editor of a college newspaper.
Editor in chief. Uh, um,
And then I think I just literally called dot dot dot.
yeah, it's the dot dot dot. But yeah, this is their eighth album, and it's been like 6 or 7 years since the stage. Um,
And I don't remember that at all. And I did not go back and revisit it, unfortunately.
no, which I mean, I hope this doesn't just have people check out of our opinion, but the stage didn't really do it for me. And a lot of people I saw cite the stage as like their favorite album. So like it at least when I was reading online, a lot of people like the stage.
I don't remember a single thing about the stage, as sad as that is to
yeah,
say.
I mean I'd
Like
like to go
2016 was 7 years ago, so maybe it's not that crazy, but
yeah. But we'll focus on this album just because we don't have enough to say about the stage to even really compare. But
no, sorry.
they wrote this album in 2018 and it was done by 2020, and then they sat on it because COVID. So
They didn't want to tour it. They didn't want to drop it and not be able to tour on it, right?
yeah, which I don't blame them. And I don't know, like now it's easy to say that. It sucks when you're like waiting on a band you like to put out music and they have it and they're not, but like I get it. It's like the smart move as an artist. Um, but whatever.
So in that time, they've been build, 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 building the
More,
album.
more, more. This
Not even
album,
making fun of that song. That's probably one of my favorite songs on here.
it is a good one. Is that
We love you.
We Love You. Yeah. Um, I think my favorites are probably Mattel and Cosmic. It's
Cosmic is the best song on here, far and away.
I have so much to say, and I don't know where to start. So let's take this from the beginning because there's a lot to unpack here. We touched on it earlier. What are your first impressions?
So did we talk about? Well, yeah, we kind of touched on it at the beginning of the show, but
Yeah.
I thought it was really weird, and I wasn't sure like what I just listened to. Like I thought it would be a good idea to listen to this one at the gym over Foo Fighters day it came out, and then like the entire back half of this, I'm like, this is not gym music at all. So I like that kind
No.
of put me in like a I didn't really get attached to it at first, and then I listened to it like while I was working and kind of focusing more on it, and it hit so much better in that environment because like it starts off like it's front loaded with all the heavy stuff, and then like it gets really weird in the back end,
Yeah.
and it like kind of like Foo Fighters, like it feels like a complete album. Like this is I'm not really sure what the story is here, but I know it's something is going on. I just haven't like dug into the lyrics yet enough
Something
to kind of figure out what's going on, but
is going on, confirmed.
there's some theater action going on here.
Yeah. It feels like they took a little piece of heaven and stretched it into like an entire album.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
And like it's weird because as experimental as this album is, it still feels like Avenged to me for
Oh,
the
it
most
does.
part. Ordinary does not feel like Avenged. It feels more like a Tame Impala song. But
I was gonna say
but
"Get Lucky" like by Daft
yeah,
Punk.
yeah,
It starts off
exactly.
like "Get Lucky," yeah.
It's
And
it's
"G" is a
weird.
Rush song.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like Russian Yes, like all like
Yeah,
crumbled up. Same shit. Any of these songs just like put on almost doesn't feel like it works as well for me. But when I listen, because like I tried to show Nicole a song and I just put on like Mattel straight away. And I mean that one like stands alone a little better. And then I tried to show her Ordinary, and she's just like, what's going on here? Like this doesn't sound like Avenged. I'm like, yeah, it really doesn't. But like if you were listening the whole time, like it kind of works.
that's
It,
how I felt about it, "Nobody." Like I remember we made fun of that song when they put the single
yeah.
out. I know I certainly made fun of it, but like I like this song so much better now. Hearing like after what came before it, and then like leading into this one, like it makes so much more sense and blends more in with like the whole album.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's not really a single album.
No.
Like
And
you need to listen to it in full to really grasp it all.
I think that song was a really smart choice to release as a single because it didn't really like set the bar anywhere. Like it wasn't like the best song, it wasn't the worst song. It's just like, I don't know, here's a song. Wait for the album.
I think they should
So
have put out "Game Over" personally,
uh
the first song,
that would have been a good one because that had like a really like ripping solo.
and it gets pretty at the end.
And then yeah, exactly. And like it starts with that like nylon string, like piano style or Spanish style acoustic, like, and they really like that. Like, what is it? Sidewinder, the end of Sidewinder, where they
Oh
just like
yeah,
rip an acoustic. Like this album has all the elements of Avenged in it. Like, I think if you listen and you're paying attention to those things, like you'll hear it. Yeah, it's weird and it's experimental, but it has killer solos. It has cool acoustic parts. It has beautiful piano parts. It has M Shadow singing like in Unholy Confessions, where he's just like growling like a maniac. And then like they utilize like
an
so
orchestra, right?
much
At one
more.
point,
There's so yeah, and they've done that before with I mean at least a little piece of heaven. There's certainly more that I'm not thinking of right now when it comes to like strings. And they use a lot of synthesizer in this, but I read a really cool fact that majority of the synthesizer is Sinister Gates with like a ton of guitar pedals, and he's doing those noises with his guitar, which is really sick.
that's really cool.
Yeah. You might call him Syntheser Gates.
Nah, see what you did there.
Sorry. But yeah, it feels like biblical at times, like Mattel and Nobody. Like those songs playing as I drive home from work and the sky is like literally on fire, I was convinced like the world was just gonna end on my drive home. And I almost like would have been fine with it because the soundtrack fit pretty well. But then we wouldn't
It
have
does
got to
feel like end
record
of the
this
world
episode.
music. Like I wrote like for
Yeah.
what's it? Death is the song, right?
Yeah.
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 So like that, I'm like, this sounds like music they play in like the waiting line for whatever the next life is. Like if you're waiting in a line for whatever
Yeah.
comes next, like this would be
Yep.
playing in the background as you wait.
And then that long, long piano. Well, is the piano's death? Yeah. No.
It's slow, but the piano is the very like life is
Is
but a
life is but a
dream.
dream. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Just yeah. That would be like traveling to after the waiting room.
the beyond.
And like the first time I listened to it, I'm like, this is like self-indulgent. Like, do we really need like 8 minutes of the same like piano tune? But
Imagine listening to that at the gym. It's like I am not motivated at all right now.
both these albums just like fucked you up. You're just like
Yeah.
sitting alone in a brewery and you're just like on like you're on like the row machine, just like with your head down, not moving at all.
I'm like, I
listening
can't do this to piano. This is
listening
not.
to
I need to be studying to put this on or something.
Yeah, I don't I feel like that piano isn't like meant to like sit and listen to every note of that.
No,
I don't know. I know
like when I go
I
back,
haven't been, but yeah.
yeah, like when I go back and listen to this, it's pretty much through. I don't even know if I hit death every time or the God. I
No.
call it just the God run. I might
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
like right before that.
Oh man, I feel like that run from easier through, not counting like Life is But a Dream, is a really good cohesive run of songs. Like G into Ordinary. Easier is amazing too. And I was also reading it's not auto tune he's using. It's just like a vocoder, which is basically just like a pedal for your voice. I know it's kind of like tomato tomato, but it's not pitch correction. It's just like adding a cool effect. I don't know. I feel like people get hung up on auto tune. Also, easier on the topic of that. Did you notice it has like the little wing yellow Ledbetter guitar?
It did have that, right?
Every band gets one. Every band gets that one that little E minor, whatever it is that they can just like
The
fool
easier.
around on. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, they're so good at guitar that like I don't care. They can do it.
I
I
think
don't know.
City of Evil turned 18 this week too. On a side note, which is pretty
Damn.
crazy.
It is crazy that they've been like at this for like because I put on City of Evil today and because I wanted to hear because like they've always had these prog elements
Oh, it's always been there.
like I keep mentioning
Like
a little
Hell the
piece of
King,
heaven. Yeah, Hail the King,
that whole album.
Sidewinder, Chapter 4, Thrashed and Scattered. I feel like that's kind of pretty out there too. That like it's got that like intense bass intro. Whatever. This feels like a natural place for them to go. I could see them getting a little too weird, where I could see some fans being like, nah, I'm not about it. Because I texted friend of the pod, Blake, and he only listened to it once when I had texted him. But he said, I'm gonna summarize it a little bit, but he said, he said he's not a fan after first listen. Like he wasn't really feeling it.
That's how I was
And
too.
he said, I'm happy they feel that they found their direction, but it's not really for me. The stage was like a stepping stone, and now they're in this whole like weird prog rock world.
So he's a stage fan then.
He is a stage fan,
All right, I think that's
which,
gonna be my homework for the rest of the week is gonna
but
be to go back to that.
to me, the criticism I kind of had with the stage, even though I didn't listen to it enough, so like take it with a grain of salt, was that it felt just like a lot of long out there songs that blended together, which I bet people feel about this who like the stage. So like I'm really curious.
Age
I
is
don't
an
know.
hour and 13.
I know. Maybe that was just it.
I think that's probably what was it with me too. I
I
don't know. I think
wanted
because I feel like this one's easier to digest. Like if you like at least have him listen through like G, and I
yeah.
think like he'll
Yeah.
start to like it more and more with each listen.
Yeah, because I could see Ordinary World being like, yo, what who is this? Like, who is this
Yeah,
band? I'm not in on this. Like that song is definitely polarizing. And like if I was looking for an Avenged Sevenfold song, that wouldn't be it. So like I do get that. Um
but also like one of their biggest influences, like Dream Theater, who I know is pretty proggy.
yeah.
I feel like it's not that surprising, like you said.
No, yeah, I this doesn't seem too much of like a straying from the path to me for them. But it seems like it's pretty split. They also said like I was reading an article about an article about a podcast that Shadow was on. I was three sources removed of people just writing about a podcast. And now I'm on a podcast talking about the article, talking about the article, talking about the podcast. So we're really deep now.
That's pretty deep in there.
Yeah. But they were saying him and I don't remember if it was Sinister Gates or Zaki, but probably Sinister. They just like took a ton of like DMT. Like we did a lot of psychedelics over the last few years.
That
And
for sure makes sense.
a big thing with that is apparently like crushing your ego. And he said he's like, I'm a pretty like ego driven guy. And this kind of like took me away from that. And they said the word they kept coming back to with this album was bold. They wanted it to be bold. They wanted to They wanted to do what they wanted to do. And he's like, we didn't want to just take psychedelics and be like, oh, we made a Pink Floyd album. Like that's what they did. He's like, we wanted to do our thing. And I think they nailed it. Like they did their thing. Like it or not, this doesn't sound like them trying to be anyone, as far as I'm concerned. Whether or not it works is up for debate. But I think it's really commendable when bands take a leap like this. And they're far enough in their career where they can afford to more than like if Turnstile put out a psychedelic album next week, but like I respect
They
it.
kind of laid the groundwork on Go On for that.
Well, whatever. You know what I mean? Um yeah, no, I don't know. That would probably work too. But I like that they're willing to just like try
Do what they
shit.
want to
They're
do.
far enough in their career. They've succeeded enough. They could do whatever they want. But I really like this, and I didn't see that coming. I thought I kind of wrote them off. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
I was wrong too. I feel like I like same thing. I guess just not putting out music for a long time and then not really getting attached to the stage just made me kind of forget how much I liked them.
Yeah. I think they're a band that like we all got real heavy on as kids or like in our younger days to the point where it felt like we either outgrew them or we just kind of got tired. And I don't know. I think a break from them was nice because I'm like I'm all in again. And I miss them. Like I forgot how much I used to like them. I got their shirt on now. I Hail the King up in the background. I'm ready. I'm back on Avenged, and I get to see them at Louder Than Life.
I think I got to see them again soon.
If they do
Our
their own
text chain
tour,
was really
like,
funny, by the way. Where I thought you were talking about Avenged the whole time. You're talking about Foo Fighters.
oh yeah, I'm like, man, like, glad we got to see them this time or whatever. You're like, we never saw them. Like, I never seen them.
I was like, I haven't seen Avenged since like I was in college.
You said them, and I'm like, we went together. We saw them, and we were just talking about two different bands for like an hour, not
Because you said
realizing it.
Broken Leg tour. I'm like, I thought that's like an Avenged Sevenfold tour, but then you meant Gabriel's actual Broken Leg
Dave
tour.
Grohl's actual Broken Leg tour. That was a good tour though. That was fun. I was looking at those pictures. I can't believe how far away we were. It didn't feel that far.
I was looking at the set list for that the other day. Like I forgot they brought Bad Brains on the stage with them and played like two covers.
That might be the second time. I think Rise Against brought them out once too. They're all
It's
like
pretty cool.
big punk fans. So much punk. Did you see Rancid put out an album? Speaking of punk,
I did, and I know like I think I've told a story on the pod before where like I've tried so many times to get into Rancid and it just never clicks.
I'm kind of with you. Their bass player is like insane, so I'll give him that. Something Friedman, I think. Um, Josh, Josh Freeman. You looking it up? Um, but
Should look it up.
I actually think you would like this album because he kind of I feel like he has those vocals that are up your alley. But I didn't hate the album, but it didn't really stick for me. I think when we read Sellout, they just dragged Tim Armstrong too much that like it turned me off a little from him.
Yeah, that didn't help. That's for sure.
It didn't, which
Like
is
I like
weird. Yeah.
I say
Uh,
I like Fall Back Down, Time Bomb, and Ruby Soho, but
Maxwell
I've
Murder
never
is
been
good
able
too.
to.
Maxwell Murder has
That's a
the
good one too.
crazy bass line. But yeah,
I
no,
forgot about the Armstrong stuff in Sellout. I got to reread that.
yeah, I mean I like plenty of questionable artists as far as personal life goes, but the music's got to be there. Like if I'm on the fence about your music and you're a shitty guy, then like, nah, there's no chance.
Yeah,
If you're a shitty guy and you make amazing music, then we could talk. My morals are for sale. Did you see all right, we're off the rails again, but and I don't mean to transition this from shitty dudes because I think this is more of like a mental disorder, but Max Bemis checked himself into like psychiatric help.
I think that needed to happen based on that
Yeah.
video you sent me.
Yeah, it was like the day after that Instagram live he did, and it was not pretty. And when the Front Bottoms released their dates today, Say Anything was no longer on the Red Rocks date. But they didn't replace them, so no one really knows for sure, but I would think that's not happening. I mean, Say Anything's not happening. They'll probably still do
Yeah,
that show.
that's probably gonna be such an incredible show.
Yeah, that would be sick. I
I'm not
wonder,
sure how that would
like,
work though, because like
yeah,
the stage at the bottom and like everything else
exactly.
goes up. You can't really jump and dance around in
No,
that kind of venue.
give me Starland Front Bottoms over Red Rocks any
Yes,
day. Please come back to Starland. Please.
I
Um,
could have sworn they were gonna do a Town of the Hawk date there, but
maybe there's some secret one that we don't know about yet. Thrice just announced a show there. We talked about it today. They're doing Artist in the Ambulance in full.
which would have been
It's
incredible to see.
the day of my sister's rehearsal dinner for her wedding. Unless it's not, but it's the day before her wedding, so odds are it is.
Yeah,
I,
probably
I was so ready to just like buy tickets right away.
because that was the one where we bought tickets to see Thrice a couple years ago, and we just straight up did not go because we were both down the shore.
Did that, I don't even remember that.
It
We
was
we
like
j-
2016.
and we just
Didn't go.
we're
Didn't even try to sell them. Just didn't go.
whoops.
I think tickets were only like 25 or $30. We're
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't.
it's fine. Yeah.
Oh man. It doesn't happen often, but it's always funny looking back. I mean, that's what's gonna happen to me with Youngblood. Unless anyone wants these tickets, holler at me. Do we have any other shows announced? The winter stuff
Wonder
is
Years, but I
starting
know like
to,
you don't like them enough to go.
yeah. Wonder Years have the albums with like the dude dressed as the bird on the cover, or is
Yeah.
that yeah?
I was gonna
Um,
say, like, I feel like, and you kind of echoed this when I asked you about it. Like, if they had better openers, I probably could have talked you into it.
yeah.
But I've never heard of any of the bands they're bringing out with them.
I didn't even see, but I just I want to like them more than I do. I don't dislike them. I just like if you're going to like a pop punk show like them, like That's like be in the crowd singing every word. And if it's instead like, oh, I think I know that glass door song, screen door, like it's not happening.
But if they're playing Greatest Generation in full, like that's like my favorite album of theirs,
True, and
and
then you could just learn
might
the
be their
album.
best album to date.
Damn, greatest show.
So if you listen to it and you get hooked on it, I can
All
be
right,
convinced to go to that.
I will listen to it tomorrow, and I always tell you I'm gonna listen to albums the next day, and then I don't, but
Yeah, like
I will. Oh, this
I
is a
said
good
I was going to
album.
listen to this stage, and I looked at the runtime, and I'm like,
Nah,
I don't know if I want to do this.
you
But if people
had
are saying it's their best one, then maybe I should.
could do like half and half. You had this album on your desk at back in college.
Oh
At
yeah,
your yeah, it was. I remember. Yeah, there's Screen Door. Fucking
it's
great
on
song.
there. Pass through the screen door. Yeah,
Just play that 10 times. I'll be good.
and like like I just want to sell my funeral. Like they never play live, but if they're playing the album in full, they're gonna have to play it, and it sums up each track that came before it.
Oh
They pull
wow.
like bits and pieces out of it, and it's so cool.
That's an awesome idea. I love that. All right, I'll listen to it tomorrow and I'll text you. It's gonna be hard not to listen to Foo Fighters or
Yeah,
Avenged.
that's gonna be with me for a while.
Yeah. Um Jason Isbell's putting out his album this Friday.
I was gonna give you homework and say, should we watch the doc
I was gonna
about
suggest
him
the
making
same thing.
reunions? Listen, then have you listen to reunions, and then we listen to the new album.
All right, wait. What's the timeline here? Because I'd like to watch the doc Friday because I work from home Fridays, so I can throw it on while working really hard.
So I think you could do maybe
Album
listen to
doc.
reunions first, watch
Okay.
the doc of him making that, and then the new album drops on Friday too.
Okay. I'll do reunions Thursday, documentary Friday, new album Friday in no specific order on Friday.
Yes,
Nice. Nice. All right. That's a plan. You'll
we'll
watch
see how
the.
you like it because he toes the country line. Like it's
I'm not.
mostly singer songwritery, but like there is like some country elements to him, and then you have
Yeah.
country singers straight up rip off his songs.
It's called Americana now.
It is called. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not like anti-country. I just like it sounds douchey, but the like pop country, like I don't want anything to do with that shit. I fucking hate that
Yeah,
music.
I've tried to
It's
get into it before, and I just can't. Like Eric Church has been the closest I've ever come because he's like leans more into rock.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know really who's just some of those songs like are so fucking bad.
Yeah, they are. It was on all weekend when we were camping, so like I can
Oh
confirm that.
man. People love it too. I mean,
Could never do it.
yeah.
That's why we're not a
Lighthearted
country music podcast.
lighthearted songs about drinking and all that, like I get it, but I don't know.
Like drinking, breakups, and pickup trucks.
Yeah. And God.
A lot of God
And
too.
that's
Yeah,
that's the same crowd who will say like they don't want to listen to rap because it's all about like bitches and money and drinking. It's like you're listening to the same thing.
yeah.
Uh, well, we just pissed off a few people, but that's
I'm
okay.
sure it's okay.
I don't
You
care.
should know by now. If you're here, you know this isn't a country music podcast.
No. Um,
Although we're gonna toe the line with Isabel next week. So,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
he's incredible.
definitely.
Like reunions, like make sure you're in like an environment where you can like listen to the lyrics
Okay.
and like really appreciate like his songwriting.
All right. Then in that case, I'll put it in my morning slot. So I'll get 20 minutes or so while I get ready and walk Jasper. And then
Oh,
another
you'll get Dreamsicle in that time space.
nice. I don't know what that
Really good
means,
song.
but and then another 10
Really, really
minutes on
good
the
song on
drive to
reunions.
work. So I can slot it in. And that's before I get to work. So like I'm still like happy.
Where you're not happy.
No, it's been fine. Work's been fine. We're in the dog days of summer. It's just like some days you're just sitting there like, oh man, I want to be outside. Although not now because of all this smog. Um, anyway, do we have anything else coming up next week?
Not next year. I know we have a couple on the 16th.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah. Awesome. I'm glad we got to talk about these albums. I've been waiting very
Patiently.
patiently. Yeah. Um, good to be back. Good to be on the summer sketch. Episodes Thursdays again. And yeah, we love you all. Hope you're going to a lot of shows this summer. And we'll see you next time.
Build, 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 build.